has just issued a chilling warning. Iran must open the strait or face hell on Tuesday. Power plants, bridges, entire infrastructure. He says it all becomes a target. But now, imagine this response. Donald, you speak of hell. You forget. Russia does not fear fire. Putin watches closely. Every strike, every escalation, every threat. Because the Middle East is not just America's battlefield. It is a chessboard. And Moscow never plays second. You move against Iran, you destabilize the entire region. And when chaos spreads, we will act. This is the warning beneath the silence. Russia has allies, interests, red lines. And if those lines are crossed, this war will not stay regional. It becomes global. Oil routes collapse, economies shake. Superpowers face off, not through words, but through force. So think carefully, Donald. Because once the fire starts, no one controls how far it spreads. And that is how wars the world remembers begin.
They're low IQ. Generally, I mean, I can generalize. They're low IQ people. They're bad. Nothing. They have no government. They have no police. They just shoot each other all day long. It's just pure bedlam. Probably the worst, most dangerous country. We have some beauties. They go to Minnesota, and they stole $19 billion. $19 billion. And they're low IQ. Generally, I mean, I can generalize. They're low IQ people. They're bad people. They have 94% unemployment. In other words, they don't want to work, you know. Get a lot of jobs available, right, with the economy. They don't want to work. Why would they work? And they sell more Mercedes-Benzes than any state in the union. Because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them, you know why? Because they're...
I'm convinced we're going to grow the House majority for the Republican Party and keep this majority because we have a great record to run on. The Democrats are in total disarray, and it's going to get worse as we get closer to the election. We have this demographic shift that we had in 2024. We'll hold those new voters because we're delivering on our promises. It's promises made, promises kept, and people are going to reward that when they go to the ballot. We are very excited. We're going to defy history, and the Republicans are going to stay in charge here. I'm very convinced that we're going to grow the House majority and keep the majority in the Senate, the House, and allow President Trump 4 years and not just 2, because if we lose the majority, they'll try to impeach him and stop everything. We got to articulate that. The thing is, Maria, we've had so many successes, so many categories of things that we've achieved that there's been a lot to talk about. But we need to narrow in, focus in more. It's a great point on affordability. That's a big thing for people, and we've been working on it every day. And by the way, the Working Families Tax Cut, the big beautiful bill that we got signed into law July 4th, the reason we did it so early in the
from Kamala Harris.
When are we going to accept that Kamala Harris was always right, no matter how you feel about her, no matter how you feel about her being a vice president, no matter how you feel about her morality, her skill set, no matter how you feel about her as a person? Kamala Harris was always right, and every step that Donald Trump has taken, she not only predicted, she said it would happen, and she gave us a play-by-play on the other options in case he wouldn't even do that one.
A new wave of debate is erupting across the country as tensions rise between MAGA voters and those who didn't support Donald Trump. This time, the spotlight is turning back to past warnings from Kamala Harris, statements that, at the time, were praised by some and dismissed by others. Now, those same claims are being pulled back into the conversation, raising new questions. Were they overlooked too quickly, misunderstood, or are people only now beginning to take a second look in light of recent developments? In this video, you'll hear reactions from across the country, real voices, personal perspectives, and the stories behind this growing uproar. Because in today's political climate, even past words can take on new meaning, and the debate over what was said and what it meant is far from over.
Come on this app and tell me that Kamala Harris didn't predict all the shit that's going on right now. Can you tell me honestly that that woman did not warn us that where we are right now was where we were going to be if we elected Donald Trump? The jobs numbers just came out. 22,000 jobs added. 360 million people. We had 22,000 jobs. That's even softer than soft. Like, we are headed for a recession. The tariffs are crippling us. We are on the brink of war with several countries. Donald Trump and the Epstein list are raging in the news. Can you tell me what Kamala Harris was wrong about? All you people who didn't want a strong black lady in office, God damn it. Like, I don't know what else to say. You wanted to vote against Kamala Harris because she was what? Black? Because she was what? A woman? And now we're left with an old, wrinkled orange bag of garbage who is sinking this country into an ever-loving recession. Like, shit, the prices are just going up and up and up. So many people wanted to bitch about prices and say, oh, I don't like Biden because of the prices. I'm voting for Trump. What prices have gone down? Because I'm looking at the prices of meat, I'm looking at the prices of coffee, I'm looking at the prices of everything, and they have skyrocketed. American businesses are suffering because of tariffs. People can't afford to buy homes, childcare, astronomical. I don't understand what you could tell me right now that has been better, because Donald Trump is now our president and Kamala Harris warned us of every single thing. So if you, Harris, thank you. If you voted for Donald Trump,
we thought
that he would use the military to go after them.
And then they told you that it was a lie?
That they are now talking about deploying 1,500 military.
She warned us.
we thought he was lying when they presented that plan, and he said it was fake news.
There was one person who predicted all of this, and people said she was lying, or that she had Trump derangement syndrome, that she did not know what she was talking about. But it has all come to pass that she was exactly right.
Donald Trump intends to use the United States military against American citizens who simply disagree with him. People he calls, quote, the enemy from within. America, this is not a candidate for president who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power.
And she was 100% right. But she's a woman, she's black. Can't have that.
He does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify, in his mind, as the enemy within, like judges, like journalists, like nonpartisan election officials. I think honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race. And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was he owned buildings, and he was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that. want better than this. Want someone who understands as I do. I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other.
And House Republicans know the American people are suffering under their leadership. Gas prices remain at record high levels, grocery costs are increasing every day, and healthcare costs continue to skyrocket. After Trump promised an economic golden age and to bring down costs on day one, hardworking people have seen their wallets get lighter as a result of him in office. And now Republicans are twisting themselves into knots, trying to explain the economy is actually doing well, telling the American people not to believe their own eyes, not to believe their utility bills or their bank accounts. We all watched as the president repeatedly called the affordability crisis a hoax. Well, now he's saying the inflation Americans are dealing with is fake. The spin that we're seeing out of this administration is not just unbelievable or laughable. It shows that they don't trust the American people.